just find that nice, comfortable position for yourself, whatever that means, and just adjust as we go through this part as needed to make sure you are comfortable and not resisting any pain or tension. And just settle into your body, into your breathing as we not only cross over into the second half of the week, but we are edging even closer to a new month tomorrow, finishing strong but stable, extremely mobile, and hopefully not sore and in pain. Tomorrow also starts the second half of the year, which is another nice bonus. So as you continue to soften into your position, start to bring your awareness to your breathing. And just as we want to let tension go from the body, we also want to smooth out the breathing, deepen the breathing. And those of you who dove in a little bit late, I'm recording class today, so that's really focused more on me than you, so don't worry. But me seeing you is a little bit smaller than usual. But I'm here and I'll keep an eye out. We will use resistance tubing for some assisted stretching today, so at some point you'll want to make sure you have that near you. So as your body and as your breath become more quiet, your mind might try to start running a little bit more. So as thoughts or responsibilities or emotions sneak in there, just try to let everything float by, just like the clouds moving around in the sky this week. So with this amazing collision of time that we have here being the end of a month, the start of a new quarter, the start of the half point, of the year, take a moment to set any type of intention that you would like to set at this moment in time, maybe how you want to finish your day or start the new month or the new part of the year. It just seems extra energizing and exciting in my opinion, especially in regards to outpacing pandemic issues, although some businesses would disagree. So from there, let's go ahead and meet on all fours. Got a fun, exciting practice today. At least I hope you think it is exciting as I do. So on all fours, you want your knees under your hips, hands under your shoulders, spread your fingers out and try to lengthen your fingers. And then you're going to take it into some cat and cow, breathing and moving. And we're trying to match the breathing and the moving together. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your eyes. Exhale, push the spine up to the ceiling and tuck your chin. And with this movement, we want to move up and down, not forward and back. So think of that as you go through the movement. The hips stay pretty steady. Shoulders away from the ears. Connect right into that breath and try to match the length of the breath with the movement, or vice versa. We got a restorative theme going on today. So as such, when we come into stretching positions, not the active movement or the little strength burst that I've put in here, but the stretching, we will hold them for longer periods of time. So don't worry, I have not abandoned you in all of that silence. I'll still be here. We're just going to be holding for, 2, possibly 3 minutes at a time. So let's do one more cycle here. And then you're going to choose the child's pose option that works best for you and sink your hips back into that, whether you need to open them because they're tight, whether you want to keep your knees close. If you can stretch your arms over the head, that's great. But if you've got some impingements going on in your neck or your shoulders, you might want to keep your knees closer together with your hands at your side. And you can also do a combination. Just try to let go. If your hips are elevated and you have something like a yoga block or a blanket or a pillow close by, you can put something behind you, underneath you, to act as a little extra support. I also neglected to point out that a yoga block would be helpful for this session too, if you happen to have one close by. If not, we'll make do without it, not a big deal. Pillows or blankets, if those are close by, will work as well. But if you have nothing but your body, no fear. So take some nice big breaths in and out. Some nice compression of your torso on your thighs. So gently, mindfully, we're going to move out of child's pose, coming up, and we're going to transition into a seated position now with your feet flat on the floor, so your knees are going to be bent. We're going to bring our hands behind us with the fingers pointing towards our rear. Before our next stretch, we're just going to do some tricep dips. You want to sit up nice and tall. Keep your bum on the floor, and you're just going to lean back, bending your arms, and then push through the hands, straightening and squeezing those triceps. Looks good, you guys. So all the motion is through the arms. You're not rounding through the back at all. We want to keep the tension on the tricep muscles on the back of the upper arm. Let's go for 4 more. Awesome. So from there, we're going to straighten the legs out, find the sit bones, and then take your band. A lot of you have already done this stretch this week, but you're going to bring it around your foot and just hold and sit up tall. Flex the foot a little bit, but make sure you position the band so the band does not snap off your foot and into your face. So sit super tall with your spine nice and stacked. Just allow the stretch to do its job. So along the way, we've got some just sort of more stretching things, and then we got some more traditional yoga poses. It's a little bit of a mix, and then we've got a little bit of a hybrid of both. So just enjoy the journey. Sure you're breathing while you're holding this. Sometimes with the static stretching, we unintentionally just start holding our breath. Continue to sit tall. Stretching, stretching, stretching. Leg is nice and straight. And let's go ahead and release from this leg. And then bring the band around to the other foot. And then just reset the position. Again, sitting tall on the sit bones, lengthening up through the back, stacking the spine, squeezing the abs in gently. Go ahead and gently release the band. You can set it off to the side. Shake the legs out a little bit, the hands, fingers. And then again, we're going to turn over. Every series is kind of this back and forth of seated to not so seated. So you're going to lift up into a downward dog. But again, nice firm hands on your mat. Stretch the fingers out. You're going to lift up, head between your arms. You're going to do a set of pike push-ups. So you're looking at your toes or beyond, and you just want to bend your arms. Top of your head comes down towards the floor, and then just straighten the arms up. Elbows are flaring out to the side. The heels can be lifted or down. That's really going to depend on your body. Most likely for this, they're going to be lifted. Guys, that looks good. Yeah, so straight down, straight up. Just like I was saying with cat and cow, there's no forward and back movement. Let's do 3 more. And then we are going to come down on to all fours and into child's pose again. But this time I want all of us to bring our knees together and our hands down at the side of our legs, just to give those arms a full rest. You want to find a comfortable angle for your head, so you don't have tension in your neck with the head on the floor. We're not going to hold here as long as some of the other positions because we've already done that. We're just taking a little break before we come back up to downward dog. All right, so let's gently release from there. And again, setting up to come up into downward dog. So we're widening the fingers, lengthening them, curling the toes under with some space between the feet, lifting the hips up nice and high, and then pulling them back like somebody's actually pulling back on them. Arms are straight, shoulders down, and head between your arms. And then you can draw the heels towards the floor. They may not touch, that's fine. Just trying to keep pressure out of the wrist. With practice, this becomes a pose that you can hold for an extended period of time, but if at any time today it becomes too much, just drop down to the floor, take a break, and then come back up. Otherwise, try to settle in by staying strong. Abs are on. Turn your head a little bit side to side while you're here. And then up and down. And then just steady it out. And keep holding. Arms are strong. Keep pulling up and back. Legs straight. Promise I won't make you do this one as long as some of the other ones today. So then you can pedal your feet out, pushing one heel down for a nice stretch down your calf into the Achilles region, and then the other one down. As you lift the heel, getting a nice stretch on the bottom of the foot, mindful of that so we don't end up with a painful and stubborn plantar fasciitis. And then let's just come into the stretch again and hold for just a little bit longer. Shoulders and shoulder blades down. You guys are nice and strong. And gently release. So just take your time coming down to the floor. And then you're going to come right onto your back. We're going to do some bridges, and then we're going to do a supported bridge. So this is the spot where we will use a block, if you have it, or a stack of pillows, or a rolled up blanket. If you don't, I'll give you a different cue. So come down on your back, pull your feet in, and then rotate the pelvis back, tucking your tail underneath you. Pull your ribs down towards your belly, and then your belly up towards your ribs. So everything is just nice and smooth here in the front. Feet are flat, and you're just going to kind of peel up. It's not a huge lift. I want you to squeeze your glutes. You feel it in your hamstrings too, that's great. But we don't want to feel it in the low back. So let's just complete some reps here. Try not to press through the arms as we're lifting the hips. Down and up, down and up. Still doing some reps. For 3, 2, and 1. So now if you have a block, position it in whatever way works for your body at that sort of low back, top of the glutes place that's going to provide perfect support for you to just then rest sort of into, keeping the front of the body flat. If you don't have a block, and if you don't have pillows or a blanket, what I want you to do is try to roll the shoulders underneath you a little bit. And then if you can interlock your hands underneath you, and that will give you some support. You'll still feel like you're really working those glutes. So either option, just hold. Excellent. And then again, if you're unsupported, just kind of come down and hug your knees into your chest, and then come back up when it works for you. And all of us can benefit from trying a variety of options with this. But you want to just try to make sure, no matter what you're doing, to not let the rib cage dive up and out of the torso. We want to kind of keep that nice, neat, sort of what I call dumpling, pinched together from top to bottom and then in at the side. Nice, neat little package there. And breathe and keep the glutes nice and tight. Head and neck stay long. And then gently, carefully come down to the floor and let's all hug the knees into the chest as the head and neck stay long. And just give yourself a nice hug here and rock a little bit side to side. And then gently release or rock forward and back. So you come up to seated position, and then we're gonna turn ourselves over again. We do a set of push-ups, and you can choose to do those on your knees if you want to keep it low key, or you can choose to do them on your toes. I'm going to stay on my knees. So hands about the width of your yoga mat. Zip up the abs, shoulders down and away, and just everything moves together in a nice straight line, nice and level, down and up, down and up. We're just going to do 10 of them, and then you're going to come up into a high plank. So that's where we'll meet, in the high plank. It's just a transition position. Awesome, good, you guys. So once you've done your 10 push-ups, curl your toes under and come into that high plank. And then from there, we're going to pull one leg forward and across, or wherever it falls. It might be more towards the groin. And then lengthen the other leg back. So we're coming into this pigeon, half pigeon pose, pulling your hands in, starting with your chest up. So you don't want to just push everything over to that side of the front leg or the stretching leg. You want to stay nice and square and level. Neutral in the hips and pelvis. And then if it works for you, you can come right down onto your forearms. Melt your head down. And just breathe. Let the stretch work its magic. Remember to adjust your position if anything gets uncomfortable. I mean, you want to be comfortable being uncomfortable, but if it feels like it is doing you a disservice, just make any adjustments. So let's go ahead and walk ourselves up onto our hands now, if you're not already there. And then just gently sort of floss or saw a little bit side to side. It's just a small motion. It's not excessive. This is a less is more kind of moment. And then let's center it up, curl the toe under of the back extended leg so we can lift up to create some space so we can switch sides. then just make your way into the position on the second side, honoring your body because it's most likely going to feel different than it did on the first side. Again, keeping that nice neutral position in the hips, starting on the hands, and then you can come down onto your forearms if that's comfortable for you. Now let's go ahead and come up onto our hands if we're not already there. And then again, just a little side to side motion is motion, kind of move, but less is more. And then for this one, you can just lean off into the side of that front leg to release the back leg to be able to just sweep it around to the front. And we're going to come back down onto our back. We're going to start with some double leg lowers, and then we're going to do an assisted hamstring stretch. So have your band close by. You're going to come down. If you need to tuck your hands underneath you a little bit for a little extra support, go for it. You want to bring your legs up. And for this one, I want you to bring your heels together, squeezing your legs together. Your toes will be a little turned out. And then like we did for the bridge, set up those abs, so draw in and up, and then draw down with the rib cage, and then just lower and lift in a fashion that works for you. The hips, the pelvis stays steady. So if you start to feel a little tired in the abs and like your low back is going to try and compensate, just decrease the range of motion. You can even bend the legs a little bit. But try to keep the toes just a little bit out and those heels and legs squeeze together. We're not doing a ton here. And 3 more, in fact. And then just bring it in. Give yourself a gentle hug. And then release one foot down to the floor. Bring the band around the other foot. Straighten the leg up. And if with the free leg, you can either keep the foot on the floor with a knee bend or you can straighten it all the way out. With the hamstring stretch, you can push through the heel up towards the ceiling, but you don't want to try pulling your toe to your forehead. You always want to keep the stretch in the muscles. out of the ligaments. Keep the structure where the structure should be. Hopefully through this practice, you've been able to maintain a tension-free body, so your body can get as much benefit from each stretch, each pose that we've completed. So let's go ahead, bring the other leg up now and just switch it. And then when you were just stretching, bring it down to the floor, whatever position works for your body. And then again, you can press through the heel. Try to keep the leg at like a 90-degree position, straight out from the hip. So let's gently, gently release the band, release the leg down to the floor, coming into our final pose for the day, which is Shavasana. So just let your legs lengthen, your arms rest at your side, and just surrender into the full support of your mat for a couple minutes, allowing your body to absorb everything you just did. Going back to the way we started, softening, relaxing, recentering the breath, and clearing the mind of any interruptions. hopefully you are feeling better now than when we started. You will just gently raise your arms above your head, taking a nice full body stretch, energizing yourself. Go into the second part of your day, the second part of the week. And then bring your knees up and in. Bring yourself a gentle hug and starting to roll forward and back. So you create enough energy to bring yourself all the way up to seated. Taking one more moment to either revisit the intention you set, reset it. Acknowledge yourself for getting here, because it's always easy to do something else. And then opening your eyes, bringing your hands together, and namaste. Awesome, you guys. Happy July